So continuing on, they were talking about a 50-50 match that the state would do depending on how much budget or how much bond the district would do. And I remember one of the it was funny seeing the board members how they were reacting to this, because they obviously know what they were talking about. One was like, yeah, yeah, so that's a 50-50 match, right? And the guy's like, yeah. The speaker was like, yeah. And then one of the board members was like, wait a minute, let's clarify that 50-50 can sometimes mean 65-35. And they're like, oh yeah, of course, right? That was interesting. And let's see, aside from that, they also talked about what the bond would do, like what would go towards for the school, like maintenance and repairs and modernization of the schools, equipment and buildings. One of the very let's get that part yet. The For the most part, because of all of the it was sort of like an award ceremony, because there were so many kids and adults who were getting awards and recognition that day. So there were a lot of cameras, a lot of picture taking, a lot of handshaking, and a lot of, good vibes. And I noticed that, because like every time like a group of people would get their award, they would leave. They wouldn't stay for the whole thing. At the beginning, it was very crowded. I was sitting in the back corner, and then the side corner, because I got kicked out of the back corner. And then as when people were leaving, and they began talking about more serious things, it was at this point the room was practically empty. There were about maybe 30 people in the room that used to have like 100 people, and it became more, I don't want to say hostile, but more like I was feeling like, oh my god, something's gonna happen, and something did happen. Desert Sands. Desert Sands came up, and I thought, okay, Desert Sands is a charter school out here, and for high school students, or for non-traditional high school students, and some adults up to age 22. And Desert Sands was basically like letting the school district know, like, yeah, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And it was like, oh, okay, this is cool, a charter school, they're doing what they do, helping kids go back to school or graduate, or moving forward on to college. And then all of a sudden, the Mr. Dutton, the president of the board, was like, so I have a few questions. Let me see if I find that guy's crazy questions. He was upsetting me. He talked about, so Desert Sands, they were saying how the state superintendent was using their school as an example to put towards other charter schools and even other public high schools. They're talking about they do student outreach for non-traditional high school students, and the program that they were talking about, they're offering summer school for students who were failing classes in high school, who would either have to get held back or not graduate. And the summer school that Desert Sands was offering was credit retrieval that kids would be able to do. That would start in July. It would have the teachers from the high schools, and also the high schools, they were renting out the high schools, and they were buying the teachers basically. So it's like an extension of school almost. And maybe I don't know if they've ever talked before, but they seemed very hostile when it came to that portion of the meeting. And Mr. Dutton was saying, "Oh, I have all these questions." He was like, "When I see your building, it says Learning for Life, but that's not the name of your school." And I wish I'd gotten all their names, but it happened so fast. I didn't get any of their names or representatives from Desert Sands, but the main speaker said, that is our motto, kind of like Nike, just do it. We are Learning for Life, Desert Sands. And the president just wouldn't let go of the fact. He was like, well, when people come up to me and say Learning for Life, I don't know what to tell them because it's not Desert Sands. And the guy's like, I don't know what to tell you. They can, they can think what they want to think. I can't stop people from assuming that that's the name of our school when it has Desert Sands next to it. Learning for Life is our motto. And I was kind of confused. I was like, okay, what's the big deal about it? But as it was going on, they were talking, the president, and also I believe it was Mr. Robert. He was Mr. Robert Davis was talking. They were asking about the rigor of the programs, and I was like, wouldn't the state already have that covered? They said, okay, well, compared to the high schools, how rigorous and competitive and comparable are the programs at your school to our schools? And they say, just like you, we have all the qualifications. We're A through G covered. We they have a compatibility L cap plan, and we have all these certifications just like you do. And the president was saying, he's like, oh well, yeah, I heard it, but I don't agree with it. And I was like, it was very interesting. And the more Desert Sands was saying, they're like, you know what, you guys should be proud that that we've worked together to build these students up. Because I'm like, yeah, like there is no issues. There shouldn't be any issues. The kids are graduating, they're learning, they're moving forward with their lives. These are kids who are in foster care, who are pregnant, and teen mothers, and they got their degree, or their certificates, and they can move forward. They can go into the military. They can, and also another cool thing I like about Desert Sands is that they have a vocational training, which a lot of high schools don't have anymore, which is really important because not everybody's gonna go get scholarships to the University of Michigan. Not everybody's gonna go to UCs. Not everybody's gonna go to all these cool programs. Nobody's gonna be. Everybody can't be an astronaut or doctor. It's just not the way the world is. People have to be plumbers. People have to be electricians. And they get paid a lot. And it's important for that education to happen in high school and let them know that it's available. And that's why I like Desert Sands. And actually, it was really interesting because I was really glad I went to this meeting because, before and throughout this whole term, I've been very down on myself because everything's happening in my life. But when I went to the meeting and I saw what Desert Sands was doing, I was like, wow, I really want to work with them. And it was very interesting. I wish I had talked to them, but I was so nervous. I'm kind of asocial. I'm an asocial type person, very introverted. So I didn't talk to any of them. I wanted to let them know, like, oh, I'm applying to you guys, for the summer. But, I was too nervous. But yes, that was the board meeting in a nutshell. Let's see if there's any more questions. The most interesting part I felt was the Desert Sands because it was more like a debate than a board meeting. But maybe that's what board meetings are. And I actually want to be able to go to a lot more after going to this one because it was interesting. And I felt another thing that was I liked about the atmosphere was like these people were people I normally would not associate with. And it was like a new environment and a new group of people, different type of people. And I felt like I was learning something even though I hadn't even heard anything yet. And that was very interesting. Thank you for watching.